Hello guys, welcome to Dollar and Cents Momentum. We saw a good bounce back from 200 days EMA, forming a good green candle, followed by a 3 days consolidation in the market. But of course, on Thursday, that is on weekly and monthly expiry, we saw a range breakdown of 3 days in the Nifty. But on the next day itself, we saw a good candle, green candle that is for open is equal to low candle and a good closing about 23,400. I mean 24,400. So we can expect a good momentum going forward in Nifty. Things for the time being, it has bottomed out, and even you can see a good range breakout after this on this trend line. Of course, closing about 24,300 can take Nifty towards 24,800. Closing below 23,900 can again start a downtrend and can push Nifty again towards 23,300 levels. So, a closing about 24,300 is very important for Nifty to start its next leg of move. Even if we see on the bank Nifty side, it's hardly 4% down from its lifetime high, consolidating in this Davos box from almost more than a month. Of course, on this also a closing about 52,500 can give a good up move and can also try for a new lifetime high. Even this, it's trading in a range right now, taking support at this trend line from a few months, almost at the from the year start. It's in this range only. Even if you see Nifty is only 8% down from his lifetime high. So of course FIs are continuously selling in the market, but on the other side we can see a good momentum picking up from DIs and FIs. Even right now the retail have started pumping up money in the market. Even the Adani news have been factored in the market, won't be getting any much effect on that. We see on the global side, Dow Jones is continuously making new all-time high day by day. It's in a good uptrend and very strong momentum we can see in the US market. Followed by even you can see Nasdaq Composite Index almost trading at its lifetime high. Dollar index is showing a very good strength. It gave a one side good move to from 100 to almost 108 levels. Of course, we can see some profit booking in dollar index, but expecting it to again move towards 108 plus level in coming months. We can only see downside or a trend change only if it's giving a closing below 105.5 unless and until it's in a good uptrend. Bitcoin, of course, hitting almost a lakh, and it's again trying to consolidate in the tenor of Trump. Of course, Bitcoin will move more above and beyond 1 lakh in coming months. Gold is right now consolidating. It's still in a uptrend, good uptrend, but I think it will take its own sweet time again to start a good bullish movement. Until unless that we are not seeing any correction in dollar index. I don't expect gold to move much higher from here. Even you can see the US 10-year bond yield is almost went till 4.5%, and from there it came at 4.18. A foreign bond index is of course good for the Indian stock market, as we can see the funds circulating from US to other economy or other developing countries. Of course, you can see US 10-year bond is taking this trend line support from almost 1 year. Even this time it fell from this trend line, expecting it to again come towards 4%. Even the rate cut is on the books of Fed for the next coming meeting. So the news for this week was especially India's GDP growth, which came much lower than expected at 5.4% versus the CNBC expectation of 6.5 and RBI expectation of 7%. The main reason for this was there was only a hardly growth of 2.2% in manufacturing, and mining saw a degrowth of 0.1%. This slow growth was also seen in the corporates' revenue and profitability. The sluggishness was seen almost all over the counter, which also triggered Nifty to fall down. And seen and same is be seen in the GDP growth also. Okay, so there are two main reasons why the GDP growth was lower in this Q2 compared to Q1, which was much higher. So the main reason was less spending for government, and even there was uneven monsoon throughout the India, which plays a very crucial role in the developing economy like India, which is agricultural land. But we can see a good momentum again picking up in Q3 as we have festive season and weddings lined up, and same trend can be followed in Q4 also. Even the government have now started spending aggressively on the infrastructure and their spending budget, which they have said. Even then, BJP winning the majority in Maharashtra, which is one of the important state in India, gives a good boost to the market. The government plan of expenditure and capex is will now speed up, and they have to go with the comment which they have given to match up there. We can see a good capex or expenditure placing in the private segment. Almost you can see more than 10 lakh crores of expenditure was done from in the private placement in the trailing 12 month. So we can expect this year to be a breathing year in Nifty, which will be good for FIs also to make an entry in the Indian market and fundamentals. I mean the valuations will be justified. A good correction, time correction is also better than a price correction in this market right now. Even there's the news of rate cut going into the scenario as we saw a lower GDP growth for this quarter. So there are two reasons why the rate cut has to be done. The one is the lower inflation, and the other is lower GDP growth. Of course, we saw a lower GDP growth, but the inflation is still higher at 6.21%, above the RBI's tolerance band. But the main reason for CPI to be higher is food inflation, which is one of the main factor which is driving the CPI up on the uptrend. Only the for inflation cannot be I mean the food inflation cannot be controlled just by the rate hike. But of course, in coming months, we can see even the food inflation and CPI inflation to start coming down below the RBI's band of 6%. So we can expect a rate cut maybe in next to next meeting, that is from 5th to 7th Feb 2025 from the RBI. Of course, the lower interest rate will definitely help market as the borrower can borrow money at the much lower interest rate, and will even help corporates to boost their bottom line as there will be less burden on the interest, and automatically we can see the increase in profitability in the corporates. Let's see with the market heads in this coming week. Of course, for the next week we have US CPI, and we have Indian CPI also on 12th of December. Of course, next week from 4 to 6 we have RBI monetary policy. Let's see what does they guide going forward, whether they are changing their GDP growth momentum for the next year or not. That has to be watched. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.